because I think people will want to have a recording. Now there are approximately 15 here, so I'm going to give it another couple of minutes. Maybe it's 5:30 exactly, so maybe we'll start in like 2 minutes. 5:32. I'm here for questions as you guys log in. I'll try to keep my eye on the chat as well, but you can speak up at any point in time and interrupt me mid-sentence. I don't mind. I'm more accustomed to Zoom. I haven't ever used GoToMeeting. We're just going to use it this one time, and then I'm going to switch you guys over to Zoom. I'm going to give you a Zoom link for next Monday, and then next Wednesday we're going to plan to meet in person for those of you who can attend in person. If you can't attend in person, that's okay. Online works perfectly fine, but I know that there will be a couple of you who want to be in person, so we try to be flexible about that, and I'll find a way to make my way over to campus on Wednesday, since I understand that sometimes students want to meet in person. If there is nobody here that wants to meet in person, I need to know that, because I don't want to go all the way to campus if I don't have to. So I'm gonna start talking about that when we start. Just make sure that there are a couple of you that really feel a need to be in person, and we will obviously honor that. That is the plan. You guys can see my screen with fundamentals of biostats on it, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so there are 23 here, and I think we should start. Hopefully the remaining 2 or 3 people will soon join us. Hi, I'm Professor Costa. It's nice to meet all of you guys. So I'm gonna, as you're gonna hear in a second, but as you heard in the email messages, I'll be taking the first half of the course, and then Professor DeVito will take the last half of the course. And so I'm going to introduce myself to you guys, and then I'll tell you a little bit about Professor DeVito, but I'll leave that for him when he introduces himself in July to you guys. But I'll tell you a little bit about him. And I'd like to hear a little bit about you guys too. Since this lecture is very short, since it's just the first session, I'd like to hear from you guys too. I think it's really important that you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves, and everyone else can hear it as well. And I'm really interested in hearing about you, but I think it really helps other students to hear what your background is, and people realize that they probably have no experience in biostats, and you shouldn't be afraid. And I'll talk about that. But let's also spend a little bit of time maybe introducing yourselves, if we can find a way to do that quickly. So welcome to Fundamentals of Biostatistics. This is PH750, and yes, we are already somehow in the summer session. It's quite frightening because the spring session just ended, and we're still calculating grades and doing all of that work. I had 300 students last semester. I had let's see, 9 sections of 3 courses at CUNY, and then 2 other courses someplace else. So I'm really busy calculating grades, and I think at this point I've probably been up more than 24 hours. So, but I feel wide awake right now, so I should be okay. But I have been awake more than 24 hours at this point. The end of the semester is a lot. So it feels a little surreal to be starting a summer course, but But I really love teaching so much, so I feel very energetic and pumped, even though I haven't been asleep in a long time. Um, so I'm really happy to be here, and it's great to meet you guys. And so this is through the School of Urban Public Health. I understand that some of you are local people, and then others of you are scattered across the country and also overseas, and I really love that. So, so I look forward to the introductions and hearing about, where you're from and what your interests are. And then, of course, we'll be talking about the discussion board in which you'll talk a little bit about yourselves as well. So let's get started. First, if there are any questions, as I said before, as people were signing in, you can interrupt me at any point, even if I'm mid-sentence. Like, I don't mind it at all. I know sometimes there's a way to like raise your hand on this or whatever, but you don't have to be that polite. You can interrupt me. I don't mind. Sometimes you have a question and it needs to be answered that moment because you may forget it later. So if you want to interrupt me, it's fine. If you want to write something in the chat, that's fine. I'll try to keep my eye on that. I'm new to GoToMeeting. I've never used it before, so I'm wondering if the chat pops up automatically when someone has when someone uses it. That's how it happens in Zoom. But I'm not too sure. So but I'll try to keep my eye on the chat. And also this session is being recorded. So that the link will be available for you to watch afterwards. So any questions for me before I start? Again, I don't want any questions at all.
Professor,
Yes.
I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else has the same problem.
You can't hear me? Can people not hear me? Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, a few people are saying they can hear me. Let me see. Okay, a lot of people are saying they can hear me, so whoever said they can't hear, if someone could, I didn't catch the name, I think it was Anat or something like that. If someone knows her, can they get in touch with her and let her know maybe she can log back in? I'm looking in the chat and seeing if I could. Okay. I don't want to play around too much with things. Okay, if you guys can hear me, just let me know. I'm just going to continue because it looks like a bunch of you can hear me, so I'm assuming that this is okay. So, just a little introduction about myself, and then I'm going to introduce Professor DeVito, who's taking the second half of the course. Okay, so Anat is somehow muted, and I didn't mute her, so I'm not too sure. I just clicked on unmute all, but I don't know. So Professor DeVito will be the instructor for the second half of the course, and I'm going to introduce him at some point and in the next couple of minutes. But then, of course, he will be able to introduce himself when he joins us in July. So I will be the instructor for weeks 1 through 4. Just a little background about myself. Students are always interested in hearing just details about instructors most of the time. So, I started off my education at Queens College, so I'm a CUNY graduate, and I started doing I had double major. I was very interested in teaching all the time. I always wanted to teach from the time I was very young, and then I actually found sociology along the way and research methods and statistics. And I had the greatest professors at Queens College. And so I just wanted to take a double major and really kind of just immerse myself in learning SPSS and learning how to do research methods. And so I just immersed myself in that, but still remaining in my education major as well. So I had a double major, and I really enjoyed the research aspect a lot. And it really, I have to attribute it to the great professors I had at Queens College. So I enjoyed sociology and research so much that after I finished my undergraduate degree at Queens College, I went to NYU, and I completed my graduate degree there in sociology, but I was still interested in education. So I started to see the field of education as a field of analysis instead of just teaching, although I always wanted to teach and I was still very interested in that. So while I was at NYU doing my graduate work, the New York City Department of Education is just over the river. So I worked there while I was a graduate school student. So I did full-time graduate student and full-time working. I know what that's like. And I did that. I did education evaluation for the New York City Department of Education for like 3 to 4 years while I was a graduate student. And I would go out into the public school system and speak with directors of funded programs and principals and teachers and parents and students to try to improve Chapter 1 funded programs. These are remedial programs that are offered throughout the school system back then. I'm sure it's changed since then, but we went in and collected data and analyzed it, and I was actually using my the skills that I learned at Queens College to actually collect the data and analyze it. Um, and even before then, my professor at Queens College came up to me one day and asked me if I wanted to do, this is before I even graduated, he asked me if I wanted to work at the Helen Keller Center in Sands Point, Long Island, to do some data entry and data analysis while I was still a student at Queens College. And that was really great of him because it was like a part-time job, and I was still an undergraduate, and I was getting an opportunity to actually apply what I was learning in class. And the Helen Keller Center is for people who are deaf-blind, and it was really very interesting. But, as I said, after I finished Queens College, I went to the New York City Department of Education while I was in grad school, and I did some work there. And then when I graduated and finished my degree at NYU, I got a full-time position at Columbia University. I worked for the school of the medical school. And I worked in a neuroepidemiology center for 20 years, over 20 years. And I was a co-investigator on many different NIH-funded large-scale, multi-million-dollar research studies, clinical trials, cohort studies, and I learned so much there. Um, and while I was a student there, I also started taking postgraduate courses because I wanted to learn epidemiology. I wanted to be able to publish, and I wanted to be able to help write grants. This was such a wonderful opportunity. So I had a very demanding job. I was there for 20 years, and even though I had a very demanding job, I was also taking these like higher level research methods courses at Columbia in epidemiology, and it was my first exposure to epidemiology. Like, I didn't know about epidemiology until after I finished graduate school. So, and epidemiology and sociology are very similar, but they're different. So I really really enjoyed it, and just understanding the fact that I loved research methods so much from a perspective of a sociologist, like, then I was sucked into research methods for epidemiology. And I continued to use SPSS, like, from the time I was in Queens College. I used it at NYU. When I was a student, I used it at the New York City Department of Education. I used it at Columbia. And then you will see that while I worked at Columbia, I was also asked to teach at it was actually Hunter College back then. That's where the epidemiology and biostatistics program was. We were housed at Hunter College, and so I was asked to teach there out of nowhere. Someone just approached me, one of my colleagues, and said, "Hey, do you want to teach epi?" And I was like, "I always wanted to teach." So, so I was really thrilled about getting an opportunity to teach because even though I was always interested in education, I somehow switched over to research. But my heart was still, still involved and still thinking about teaching and education evaluation. Um, it's just very hard in terms of doing education evaluation. The reason why I wound up in a completely separate field after I graduated is because I didn't feel like you could really do any type of kind of improvement in the school system based on the research that I was doing, at least at the New York City Department of Education. There may be other places that do great work, but it's really hard to actually make an improvement. There's a lot of bureaucracy, and many of you know the story. So, and this was a very long time ago because I'm very old. So what happened was I started teaching simultaneously to working at Columbia, and so I've been teaching for the epidemiology and biostats department. It was housed at Hunter College for all those years until CUNY opened up its own graduate school of public health, like in 2016 or something like that, and then we moved over to the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health. So then I switched over there, but I'm still affiliated with Hunter College, so I get to meet you guys and teach here. And then along the way, one of my colleagues from CUNY asked me to just take one class. He had moved over to Adelphi University. He was the new director there, and he asked me to just take one class for a semester. He needed someone to teach, and he knew I was very busy, but if I could just take one class. And I was like, sure, I love teaching. Yes, I'll take a class there. I know Long Island really well because I grew up in Queens, so no problem. And so I started to teach a course at Adelphi while I was teaching at CUNY and also working full time at Columbia. And I've been at Adelphi as well for at least 12 years now. And I was recently promoted to senior adjunct lecturer there. And I teach at their MPH program. And I recently helped them get accredited for the Council of Education and Public Health. I was responsible for writing that site visit report with the dean. So I'm very proud of them. They recently got accredited. This program is also accredited, I believe. So, but anyway, that's a little bit about my background. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. You can chat with me afterwards or ask them now. I'm keeping my eye on the chat. So, any questions for me? Oh, this is so funny. There's some kind of recording here that Tony has with this. Ay, ay, ay. How do I stop this? Oh my goodness. I hope this goes off. Let me see if I might be able to figure this out. I might be able to figure this out. Okay. Let's see. So, there was a recording that I think Professor DeVito has set up for this. Okay. So I put this fun. I'll just wait until this finishes. Oh, you can't hear a recording that's playing? Oh, that's great. Okay. It's recording that I'm hearing. So I'll just talk then. So I've been calculating so many grades and everything, and so when Professor DeVito sent me the slides for me to edit, I saw these really nice pictures that he posted. So last night when I should have been grading, I started posting photos. So so these were the two dogs that I had a while back. This is Gracie on the left and Corey on the right. And unfortunately, both of them passed away several years ago. And I haven't gotten a dog again, but I'd love to. I love to travel. I haven't traveled in a while, but I really enjoy traveling. And so there are a few pictures here. This is the desert, the Anza Borrego Desert near San Diego. This top one was from Edinburgh when I went in 2018, thankfully right before COVID. I'm glad I went to the UK before COVID. And it was really fascinating to go there. And let me just see what else I have here. This photo is probably from York, UK. And then I love going to concerts. You guys are probably mostly too young to know who this person is. That's okay. But this is a famous musician named Sting. He was formerly of the Police. You probably know the Police songs. Maybe some of you do. But I've been a fan of his music for many years and had opportunities to meet him and go to concerts. And we usually stand all the way up in front of the barricade, as you can see here. So this is just a couple of little things that I enjoy doing. I love Asian food, namely soup dumplings. This is a picture of Greece when I went many years ago. And here's a picture of me when I was very young. And I used to dance and twirling and all this other stuff. So that's a little bit about me. Um, and so now we'd like to, let's see, my contact information is right here. Just make sure I don't have a Hunter email address any longer, because once we switched over to SPH, we don't have that any longer. So just make sure you're using this email address to reach me. And I may wind up giving you a Gmail account too. I'm going to send you guys another email message over the weekend with a Gmail account just in case. I always like to have a backup because I don't trust emails at any institution. It's not that I don't trust CUNY, it's like any place with things that go down. So I just want to always have a backup. Always put, and please hear this, and I know like a couple of you won't hear this, but please hear this. Please put PH750 in the subject line of your email messages. It just makes it easier for me to find. I'm just completing, like I said, this semester I had like 300 students, and I may be hearing from some of them during the summer, and I'm also teaching another course at CUNY SPH, which is my part is going to start in a few weeks, and it'll overlap with this one a little bit, but I'm used to having like 2 or 3 summer courses at the same time, so that's not a problem. But it's just good for you to put PH750 in the subject line so that I know to look at it right away. I usually reply like right away if I'm online. I'm usually online working really late at night. But we say within 24 to 48 hours, but I'm usually pretty fast with replies. So now for Professor DeVito, I'm obviously going to let him introduce himself when he finally gets to meet you in July, but he's going to be your instructor from weeks 5 through 8. And so this is actually his course. He has more experience teaching this course because I've done more epidemiology, but when I first started working at Hunter College, I first started teaching biostatistics for several years. And then the program changed and split up, and then, it was like epi and biostats combined, and then it was only epi and then separately from biostats. So things have changed over the course of 16 years. But Professor DeVito, who we will meet in weeks 5, is also an adjunct lecturer like myself, and he is also affiliated with Hunter College and the CUNY School of Public Health. He has a background in environmental and occupational health science, so it's very different from mine. He has experience with water treatment and cooling towers and Legionnaire's disease, obviously, and air testing, portable water, safety training, an OSHA certificate course at Rutgers. And I'm going to let him introduce himself to you as soon as he's here. These are a couple of pictures. Oh my goodness, here we go with the recording again, but I don't think you guys can hear it, so that's good. This is Tony DeVito's email address, and he does have a Hunter email address, so you can use this to contact him. But for the first 4 weeks of the class, I'm the instructor. You don't need to contact him. And he too will contact you guys within 24 to 48 hours. Always put PH750 in the subject line. And of course, he posted some fun photos of himself about things he enjoys doing, and I'm sure he'll talk to you about that. So, any questions for me before we continue? I just want to make sure I'm taking any questions. I'm also checking the chat. Okay. Some people know Sting, some people are saying Roxanne. I was born in 1985. That's great. So yeah, it's good to know some people know him, right? So, and so that's great. So, uh, this is what we're going to do this summer. There will be new course materials posted twice a week. Okay, so technically we are scheduled to have a session every Monday and every Wednesday. So every Monday and then every Wednesday, you will have a new course session with course materials posted. Okay, so just make sure you follow this closely. Okay, every Monday and every Wednesday, there will be new material posted, which means that you got to sort of keep up. I've taught summer classes and designed summer classes since like 2010, so I know how this is. There will be a couple of you, one or two, who don't keep up, and then your grade will not be so great. I don't want this to be you, so just make sure that you keep up because this goes so quickly. And you guys are fortunate that this is an 8-week course because at CUNY SPH, it is a 5-week course. So I'm about to explain, yes, so that's exactly what it says on the slide, Stephanie, that as you can see right here on the slide, the Wednesday in-person session I'm about to tell you about, Stephanie, will also be, there's an opportunity to tune in online just as you're doing now. We're going to do it through Zoom though, and there will be a recording and I'll be posting the recording. So the plan is, as I've said, twice a week, there will be new material posted, Mondays and Wednesdays. Every Monday, unless there's a holiday, I think there's a holiday on June 19th. So on June 19th, we will not be meeting. There will not be any class sessions posted, new material posted for that day. On that day, it's a holiday. But I may post material before that day for those of you who want to get a head start, right? So some of you may want to get a head start, maybe work on it on Sunday or Tuesday. So I'll be posting some material ahead of time during that week. And we're going to be there before you know it, because it's only a few weeks away. But everything's going to be laid out for you and summarized so you know what to expect. And so with that said, every Monday we will be doing an online session unless there's a holiday. And then I know that there are a couple of you who don't like doing online courses and you feel you need to be in person and you learn better than sitting at home. So we try to accommodate that, and I will hold in-person sessions on Wednesday. I will go to campus and meet you guys there. You're not required to do that. I know there were a couple of students who contacted me from outside of New York and outside of the United States who are taking this class, and no, of course you're not expected to attend. They will always be covered. When I'm standing in front of the room, I will also be zooming the class. So in other words, you'll be able to hear me just as you hear me now. It's not going to be any different, but I will be giving you a Zoom link instead of a GoToMeeting because this is Tony's account And I didn't want to replace it yesterday because I didn't want half of the people on the go-to meeting and half of the people looking for me on Zoom, and then people didn't know where to find me. So I just kept it. But next week, please make sure you hear me. Don't use the go-to meeting next Monday. I will be giving you a Zoom meeting link over the weekend. So please make sure you do not use the go-to meeting. Everyone, please hear me. Um,
Professor, I have a
yes.
question, please.
Yeah.
About Wednesdays. Those who choose not to go to campus. So you said you're gonna record it on Zoom, but should we connect to Zoom? I mean, is it
Yeah,
synchronous or is it
yeah,
asynchronous?
it is. It is synchronous.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
going to be
Okay.
an in-person session. So as I just said, it's going to be an in-person session. So just as you're hearing me now, and I'm not on campus now, but just as you're hearing me now, I will just be doing the same exact thing, but only through Zoom, not through
Okay.
GoToMeeting,
Yeah, I
and
just
you're going to
I
hear
wanted
me.
to make
Yep.
sure that you're not uploading a recording of that class and
Yep,
we could.
no, no, no. I
All
will be
right.
posting a recording as well, but you will also be able to hear me live just as you do now.
Okay.
But I'll just be
Okay.
standing in the classroom. Hopefully not
Yeah.
alone though. So I
Got
do
it.
want to make sure. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no, I said thank you.
Okay, sure. I mean, I'm glad you can hear me now. I was really concerned, but I'm really glad you can hear me.
Yeah, well,
Um,
something my earphones are
it's okay.
yeah,
It
so
happens. I'm so glad that you figured it out very quickly. Um, So let me see, what was I going to say? So, yes, Wednesdays we will be in person for those who want to attend in person. If you don't want to attend in person, there's going to be a Zoom link and you're going to hear me talking just as you do now, only that I'm going to be standing in the classroom. And then for those of you who can attend synchronously, because then I have a group of people who can't attend synchronously either, so we're going to give you a recording. So you could figure out what you want to do. Either come in person, listen synchronously from the comforts of your home, or just do it asynchronously without listening in person, online, live. But if you do that, it's really important that you keep in touch with me regularly, because if you do a totally online course on your own and you're not disciplined, sometimes that doesn't work out. I have taught many fully online courses. That's basically what I do. I've designed many of them from scratch, and they work very, very well, but students have to know that, they have to be really disciplined to make sure they're watching the lecture slides and not just going to the homeworks and trying to answer the homeworks without looking at the lectures. And just like you would when you're in class, you take notes usually. That's what I used to do. I used to take notes. So if you're watching a video of a recorded lecture, you also have to take notes from it. It's like really hard if you don't do that. So I know that some students don't watch the lectures if they want to just do it asynchronously, and then they go to the homeworks and it's obvious they have no idea what they're doing. Just don't do that. Because at the end, you're going to be disappointed with your grade, and then there's not much I can do at the end. So that's the plan. Make sure you hear me. We're not going to use GoToMeeting for me. Professor DeVito will use it in July, but for me, beginning next Monday when we do our next fully online session, I will be sending you this weekend a Zoom recording link, a Zoom link for you to log in on Monday, and we're going to keep that link the same until I'm no longer here, okay? Until July. So, unless there's some type of technical glitch, which never happens. So that's the plan. We are not using GoToMeeting for the course sessions that you have with me after today. You're going to be replaced by Zoom. And then on Wednesday, can I just see like maybe some people in the chat or whatever? And it's okay. There's no pressure to come in person. Like, I know the department prefers it and they want us to be able to offer it. I'm perfectly comfortable at home and I feel perfectly comfortable doing it at home, but I know that some students feel very strongly about wanting to be in person. So, do I have at least a couple of people here that want to be in person? I'll look in the chat and see if anyone says anything. Is there anybody going to be attending in person if I go there? Because it takes me a little while to get there. Yes. Okay, good. I see a couple of you. I will try to go. Good. It might be just me and you, Erica, but but I'll still go. Um, Hopefully it's really interesting because that's okay. You know, I know some people get off right at that time and that's understandable. So I'm just wondering like how many of you will show up. We'll see. They really want us to offer this. So I will be there. In fact, I love doing in-person lectures because then I can see you guys and I watch your facial expressions and it helps to guide me as to what I need to repeat and how I need to speak. Here I don't get that opportunity, but I see most of you saying they can't attend in person so far. It might be just Erica and I and maybe Valentina. But we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. We'll see. We'll touch base before Wednesday and figure out what we're going to do and how many people are planning to go. And then I'll just, the thing I recommend, which is what I say on these slides, is check your email very regularly, like every day, because just in case there's a change in plan, I don't want people going someplace or logging in somewhere when I'm not there. Like I'm really good about telling you guys and making everything really clear in terms of like where I'm going to be and how to find me, where to log in. But you have to check email because I don't have your phone numbers and I can't text you guys. So to check email, that's my only way of getting in touch with you. Um, so that's the plan for now. We'll see what happens next week. I'll try to assess how many people are going to be able to get there in person. And you don't have to tell me now, but for the people who said they can go, I think there might be two. You can email me later and tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel if we weren't offering an in-person session because the two people that said maybe they could get there, maybe there's at least one or two of you that really want that. So I don't want to disappoint anyone. So I kind of want to just feel you guys out about what you guys need. So if you want to shoot me an email and tell me if you can attend next Wednesday, it's going to be at 5:30. We believe the room number is going to be CO9, but the department has been delayed in terms of confirming that. But we reached out to them again yesterday, and so everybody knows, including the department chair, and we're trying to get a confirmation on the room number. So just stay tuned, check email. Someone just asked if we attend in person, will we need to save our work on a cloud to access on campus? Um, that's a good question. I don't know about the computers on the Hunter campus. Um, it's a possibility that that could be the case, unless you also have a thumb drive that you want to bring. I think that would also work. You can also email the files to yourself. That's what I always do. I have Dropbox, and everything I save or do goes into Dropbox. I don't know how many if people have that. But I'll try to find out the answer for that, Noel. You can email me that question, and I'll ask Professor DeVito because he has been on Hunter campus like last summer, and I haven't been to that campus since 2016. So I remember how it was. We always had to give. I know CO9 too. I know the basement. I know the area. I know the building. It was brand new when we were there, and I know that students had to bring thumb drives with them, but that was 7 years ago, so I don't know if it's the same situation. But Noel, just email me and I'll get back to you. I'll ask him. The link to our online classes will be posted. And, as I said, we're going to figure out what we're going to do about CO9 once I get a confirmation. Um, Let me see what else. There'll be supplemental help and review sessions. So after class, if anyone wants to speak with me, if we do manage to have an in-person class, I'll obviously stay after to talk to anyone. It's probably better to talk to me after class than before class, because it's a little bit of a commute. I live in Manhattan, but I'm all the way on the west side. And several blocks south, many blocks south, so it's a little bit of a trek for me. It's funny because maybe some of you live outside of Manhattan, and it's like even if you live in Manhattan, this campus is in Manhattan. It still can take me like an hour to get over there. It's just crazy. So and it would probably take maybe double the amount from Queens if people are coming from Queens, or worse from Brooklyn, depending on where you're coming from. Um, so anyway, it's probably better to meet me after class. Also after these online sessions that we're going to hold via Zoom beginning next Monday, I will stay after and talk to anybody who has questions for me. So just, feel free to stay after, and you can always email me with questions. So any questions for me before I continue? I'm happy to take any questions. Don't hesitate to ask.
Hey,
Okay.
I had a quick question. Sorry if it's a little loud, but so starting on this Monday coming up, it will be through Zoom, not GoTo, correct?
Yeah, no more go-to, like I said, and no more go-to meetings. When Professor DeVito um joins in July, he's going to be using his go-to meeting account. This is his go-to meeting account, and I just used it for today because I didn't want to confuse anyone because it was already posted with the material. So I didn't want to send a Zoom link and then half of the people would be logged in on GoTo and half of the people would be in Zoom because they didn't check email. I wasn't going to do that. So just figured let's keep it the same. So that's why I'm changing it. So yes, beginning next Monday, we will be
All right,
using
thank you.
a Zoom link. I will share it with you this weekend by email, and I will also post it on, as a Blackboard announcement. Did that answer your question? Okay, and I'm assuming you guys are mostly good with Zoom. Any concerns about Zoom? It's really easy to use. I'm guessing most of you have used it. Does anyone have any concerns about using Zoom? Okay. Any other questions for me? So what we will cover in this course. This course is designed to enable students to analyze, present, and interpret population health data. Students will learn to apply common statistical concepts and methods, the, looking at the distribution of data, the probability, hypothesis testing, statistical significance, sampling, and also an introduction to univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analyses. So just to ask, how many people have some experience doing any of these things that I've mentioned on here? And don't be shy to say you have. Some people may have experience. I'm just curious to know how many people have. Okay, I see a few people. I did SPSS in an intro stats course. Okay, I do a couple of people. Okay, but it's been a while, right? So, you need to refresh and get back into it. So far, maybe 4 people have some knowledge of it. I've see 4 or 5, 6, out of 23. But the people that are saying they have some experience don't seem like experts. Maybe we have 1 or 2 people here who's maybe more of an expert. But most of the people that are saying they have knowledge, maybe it's like now maybe about 7 or 8 people don't have, they're saying they have some knowledge and not extensive. So that's okay. And so I just want to tell you and reassure you that one of the things I enjoy doing the most, and one of the reasons why I love to teach from the time I was very young, is I love to break down the concepts into a very basic way so that people can fully understand them. And that's how I was taught. And that's why I love teaching, because I love doing that. So if you are new to this, or if you feel like, well, I have some knowledge, but I haven't looked at this stuff in a long time, or I hated math and I never understood it and now I'm terrified and I have to take this. I understand all of that. I've been teaching this, 16 years, so I understand. And I teach summer, fall, and spring, and I often have 200 to 300 students. So I've had thousands of students, and I know how you guys feel. And I know how you guys also need to hear things in order to understand it. So I will be teaching this as if you're hearing this from the first time. And Professor DeVito does the same thing. We will be teaching this as if you're hearing this from this first time. We will not make any assumptions. And for those of you who know it, and maybe there are one or two of you who know it and have some comfort with it, pay attention still, because it's good to have the reinforcement even if you feel you know it. And maybe there are some things that might be a little different. Maybe there are some things you never really like understood fully, and we're hoping that maybe we're gonna do a better job at making it easier for you to fully understand it, because I'm gonna break it down and make it just so simple for you to understand it. And a lot of students have said, like, I've never understood this stuff before, but now I can finally, like, I'm not afraid to, like, pay attention and understand it and apply myself. So I'm hoping that you guys will feel that way too. The course is not only taught through lectures, we're also going to do some labs and some computer exercises. We will be using software such as Excel, which comes free with Microsoft Office. And we will also be using SPSS, which I'm going to talk about in a couple of moments, which I know I mentioned a moment ago when I was talking about myself. And if some of you are more comfortable using R, you can use it to do some of the assignments that we're doing. You're not going to be forced to use SPSS if you already are used to using R. But we will not be teaching R. We will be teaching SPSS and also using Excel. That's what's supported in this course. Does anyone have some experience using R? Nope, nope, no. Okay, no one has experience. Would Google Sheets be okay to use? Maybe okay. Can you get access to Microsoft Office? Anthony, I'm going to talk about this in a couple of minutes in terms of like other options and how you can access Excel even if you don't have Microsoft Office, although you should be able to get Office on your computer.
Yeah. I mean, if you know of a way to get Office, then yeah, I could definitely.
I will ask and find out if that's an opportunity. I know at CUNY SPH, they offer it for students, so like anyone can get it and they all have it. But I don't want to say that they do it here because I just don't know. Years ago I'm not sure if I remember that they did that. So, does anyone have, so it seems like, does anyone have any other issues with Excel? Let's just talk about Excel because that's the easiest one to get. It's just maybe one person who may have an issue with Excel, and we'll try to figure out how to hook you up, Anthony, without, having any expenses. Okay, so now, and there's no one who knows R, so that's out. SPSS. Anyone ever use it? I mean, I literally was using this for the first time when I was in college, and I have used it ever since. And to be honest with you, and it has opened so many doors for me in terms of like getting into programs, teaching, the job at Columbia, the job at Helen Keller Center, job at New York City Board of Education. I mean, I got every single position, including teaching, because of my knowledge in SPSS. And I've used it ever since I learned it as an undergraduate at Queens College. It opens a lot of doors because not a lot of people know it or want to learn it, and it's so much easier than it is now because it's all driven by menus and you don't have to really write syntax. But years ago we had to program it and write syntax, and that really helped us to understand it. Samuel said, if we do not have access to Excel, do we also need SPSS to do the coursework? If we do have access to Excel, there will be some things that you're not going to be able to do in Excel. You're gonna need SPSS, and I'm going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. And I'm going to talk about easy ways to get access to SPSS. It's also not that expensive. There are cheaper ways to do it, and then there's also a free way to do it through a virtual desktop, which is a little glitchy sometimes, but you can try it out and see how that works. We don't want you glitching during, a homework deadline because we won't be able to make exceptions. So, but you might want to try out the virtual desktop. We can, I'm going to talk about these things and these options in a second. But to answer your question, yeah, you will need Excel and SPSS ideally, because especially as we get later on in the semester, Excel can't really do some of the statistical analyses that SPSS can do. And also, I think just based on what I just said, it really makes you so much more marketable. I just can't even tell you like how many opportunities I got because of SPSS, and it's really not hard. It's like really interesting and easy to do. So, and I've been teaching that like when I first started teaching at Hunter College way back, that's what I taught. It was an SPSS lab, and a lecture. So I will be teaching SPSS. Any other questions for me? Okay, so this is what do we need to know, right? Because some of you are sitting there going, okay, what knowledge do I need to know? So as I said, we're not gonna make any assumptions that people know anything about statistics. We're gonna teach it as if you're seeing it for the first time. So you can all breathe a sigh of relief, and I really mean that too. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I kind of know how you need to hear it and introduce it on a very basic level. And knowing that very few of you have a lot of experience with this, it reassures me that you need this. So I'll be doing that. And some of you will learn it more quickly than others, and that's always the way it is. But I'm here if you have questions. Like, don't feel embarrassed to ask me simple questions. I always tell students this story, and it's even more interesting to tell you guys because this happened in like at Hunter College and probably CO9. Way back. I had a student, I remember like exactly where I was standing and where she was sitting. And it was at Hunter, like before 2016 when I was still on that campus. And at the very beginning of the semester, it may have been the first class session or the second. And after I always finish telling students, ask me any questions you want. It's not a stupid question, like at all. Like, don't feel embarrassed. And I was starting to explain risk factors and outcomes, diseases, and epidemiology. And she asked me a very basic question that I wouldn't have thought to say because I'm immersed in the field. And even though I think of these things still on a very simplistic level because I teach it, it was something that we wouldn't normally say. I don't remember exactly what it was. I wish I remembered the question, but it was something that she wasn't understanding that I needed to say. And if she hadn't asked it, she would have been confused the entire semester. And then she wound up doing really great in the class. But if she hadn't asked this question, it was probably about like a risk factor and exposure and like what is it? There was some kind of good question about that she asked. Um, to clarify, and it was because she had no experience. Like she came from a completely separate field, like not even public health. And she was eager to learn public health. And so she asked this really good question at the beginning. And I remember I remember this so clearly because I was so happy. And then I saw the expression on her face when I answered it. And she was just like, oh, I get it. So ask me questions. We expect that some of you will have maybe some elementary statistics background at the very least. And other math knowledge is also desirable, but we all know how that goes. I had great math teachers. I was so fortunate. But even if I had great math teachers, I'm actually really interested in math education. That's actually what I wanted to teach. I wanted to actually teach math. Um, so so it's okay if you hate math. It's okay if you don't even understand fractions and decimals and proportions, because I'll go through all this, with you, and I'll build you up to the point where you can then take the next steps and understand the material more fully. Often, as I said, students are like, oh, I finally understand like percentages and decimals. I never really understood them. So, there's going to be some time spent on just necessary things to just give you the foundation. So you will also need to be able to use a computer and a web browser. I think you guys know how to use web browsers, the internet, Chrome, Firefox, whichever you use. Um, so access to email, I've been teaching a long time. You have to try and get on email every day. There will be one or two of you who are sitting here right now hearing this, and not, you're gonna not do this, and then it might be very hard to find you, and that may jeopardize your grade. If I need to reach out to you privately and I can't get you for something important, or you're not going to hear instructions, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So don't do that. I want you guys to do well. So please check email daily, and also check the course Blackboard shell daily. Because normally I'm going to be posting Blackboard announcements, and then I'll also send them as email messages. But then sometimes I have to email you guys personally, separately, regarding maybe something. And I'm not going to put that on Blackboard to the entire class. And if you don't check email, then you're going to miss, not only the course related information, you're going to miss the, more personal email messages about maybe your grade or some other assignment. So just make sure you check email daily. And the other thing I want to say is we've already sent 2 email messages. There was one from Professor DeVito and one from me that occurred yesterday, I think, or the day before. So if you didn't get both email messages, like something's wrong with your email. So you have to contact the help desk and get that resolved, because you should have gotten 2 email messages. You also need access to Microsoft Office to make sure that you have Excel and Microsoft Word. What if you only got one? Okay, which one did you get, Stephanie? I got the one from me. Okay, did everyone get Professor DeVito's message? So I didn't send that, but I know he sent it. Okay, some people got both. Okay. So I'm wondering why you didn't get the first one. Okay. So the first message from Professor DeVito is also posted as a Blackboard announcement. So you can go and look at it there. And maybe there might have been some reason. Yeah, so you haven't missed anything yet, so that's good. And just make sure that you continue to get email. I know there's always one in every class who just doesn't hear this, and I don't know what else to do. I repeat it so many times. So just check email. Just trust me. Like don't compromise your education. You're just so fortunate to be able to be here. So so please check email daily. And again, access to Microsoft Office is really important, because you're going to need access to Word and Excel. I know there was one student who just expressed concern to me, and so I'm going to offer some options and then see what we can do. I don't know if anyone else has any issues with getting access to Excel and Word. It comes packaged as Microsoft Office. If you have a Mac, you can certainly get it. Microsoft Office works on Macs. I've had a MacBook Pro and it works. Any other concerns with Microsoft Office and Excel and Word? Anthony, just reach out to me too, even though I'm going to talk more about like it now. I just still want to be in touch with you and absolutely confirm that you get what you need. So it's good to like start an email thread with me. So also access to SPSS you will need in addition to having Excel, as someone asked me before, and I'm going to talk about SPSS in a moment. You also need a commitment to access the Blackboard system on a regular basis and keep up with the course material. So this is all obvious and important, so just make sure you do this. Keep up with the coursework. Okay. So this course is taught through a combination of recorded and live lectures and exercises and demonstrations and participation. We also have an online discussion forum where you guys can talk with each other and talk with me as well. I think that you guys, obviously, and I don't have to say this because you already know, you don't only learn from me, and I don't only learn from you, I most certainly learn from you as well, but you also learn from each other. So that's why we have these discussion forums. And there are many of you who are taking this class outside of New York and maybe overseas. And it's really interesting to be able to communicate with people who are not local, who share your same interests, and who also bring something new to the table, some new ideas to the table. So we have online discussion forums and opportunities for you to get to know each other. We have homework assignments, which I will be posting. I'm very good about posting deadlines. This isn't posted but over the weekend we're going to post the deadlines. So don't be concerned. I'm very good about sending reminders about deadlines. And I will be posting the homework deadlines. This way you know when things are due because the semester goes very fast. There are also 2 online exams. There is one that you're going to take for the first like 3 weeks or after the first 3 weeks or so of the class. You see it listed on the syllabus. And then after Professor DeVito does his part, there's going to be another online exam at the end. Both exams are online. You don't have to come and take them in person. It's very easy to access them online. I will give you detailed instructions on how to take the course, how to find the exam, how to take it. I've designed many online exams for many, many years. Even as far back as 2011, we started teaching online. So way before COVID. That's when it was first introduced to me. I think it was like 2011. So a lot of schools converted to online learning. And that's what I'm used to too. But I've always did it in person before then. And like I said, I love doing in-person lectures. But the comfort of the home, not being able to travel, not having to travel is wonderful too. So there's also a course project which Professor DeVito is going to talk to you about. I think it has to do with some data analysis. It's not horrific. It's not a huge project. It's not like a huge paper. I think it involves giving you some data and analyzing it just to show that you have some of those skills. He's very reasonable with grading. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do in terms of instructions, but just know that that's coming up. Oh, and it looks like there's some type of a 3rd exam, and you can either do the 3rd exam or the course project, and this is something that he's going to cover, but just know that it's probably on your syllabus, and you'll be told about it as we proceed over the next couple of weeks. So here's the textbook that is listed for this class. It is Diaz Open Intro Statistics 4th edition. And the ISBN number is here. And one student contacted me yesterday and said that she had ordered the book, but she's from overseas and the book hasn't gotten to her yet. And I can just tell you that even if we order textbooks here, locally, even if they're like from, New Jersey going into New York, we don't get them either. So I can just imagine what it's like to get something delivered if you're overseas. And I apologize that things take so long, even more so now than they did before. But the good news is that you can get a digital version of the textbook for free. And this is the link right here. So But some people like to have the hard copy of the book. You need to feel the book. So these are some of the prices for how much the book, whatever. If you want a hard cover through Amazon in full color, it's $24.99, which isn't really that bad. I've seen textbooks for over $100, which is really a shame. If you just want a black and white paperback of the book, you think that that's okay, $14.99. A black and white paperback from CreateSpace of the book is only $7.60. So if you really need to hold the book and write in the book, like some people need that, and I completely understand that. I think I'm like that way too. I'm probably that way. So there are cheaper options here for you. But if you don't feel like you need to hold a copy of the book in your hand, you can always just get the free version online. Just know that, it's like hard sometimes to read, the screen all the time. But, that's an option. The exams will be open for, I believe, 3 days. And one of the, like, for example, we are going, say we hold the exams. I'm just giving you an example. I think the dates are already on the syllabus, and if they're not, like this weekend, I will be updating everything. But we will be holding the exams for approximately 3 days. So you can log in at any point within those 3 days, and you will be told exactly from when to when you can log in and complete it. I think there are 3 hours that you get to take it. It's not a 3 hour exam, but you get more time to take it. And not only that, but one of the things that I know Professor DeVito has said is that we try to schedule those 3 days around at least one of these core sessions. So in other words, if we might schedule the exam to be held on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this way, there might be some of you when you're only available either Monday or Wednesday night, because that's when you signed up for this course. And so therefore, if you want to take the exam during that week, when we're not going to meet that week because this is an exam week, if you want to take the exam during this time, right, at home, because this is the time you're available between 5:30 and 8:30 on a Monday night or a Wednesday night, then we're going to make sure that those 3 days that we schedule it will either be overlap with Monday or Wednesday. So this way you can take it on at least one of the days that you said you would be available to take the course. Ian, did I answer a question? Anyone else have any questions about this? Anything else? Okay. So this is the way that you can get a free version of the textbook if you want it. And you can go look into open source. They have a lot of other resources there. You can go and take a look at it and see other things that give you free resources, which these days everything is so expensive. But here's what the textbook will look like. And of course you can definitely make this larger. There'll be a way to expand the screen, zoom in, because I wouldn't want to look at this. I could see it, thankfully, but if I, went on and read this for 50 pages, with formulas, I would need to make this bigger. So you'll be able to, this is how it looks, and you'll be able to zoom in. So that's what it looks like. And so now here's the issue. I know there was somebody who mentioned something about Excel and Microsoft Office. I think it was Anthony. And Anthony may not be the only one. So there may be others of you who haven't spoken up yet. Most of you have access to Microsoft Office, but some of you may not. And even if you have a Mac, you should be able to get it. And I'll look into whether Hunter provides it for free. I know other places do, but here's another option. It's possible, according to what Professor DeVito has said, that there's an openoffice.org or neooffice.org that provides you with a similar environment or Excel equivalent for you to access. And you might want to just, Anthony or anyone else, you might want to just go in there and see what it's like and try to like do a couple things with it to make sure that it's going to work for you. But Anthony, as I said, email me, and I want to not only offer this to you, but because this is free, but I also want to see what I can do with getting you hooked up with Hunter or something else. So that's an option for people that may not have it, may not be able to get it on their laptop, and also, you guys are students and a lot of people don't have money, especially these days. Everything's so expensive. So let's see. So, and it's the same thing with openoffice.org and neooffice.org. There's also equivalent of Microsoft Word on there too. It's better to get it on your computer though, because I've never used this before and it may be wonderful. I just don't know. So, but you may want to go try it out and see what you think, like early on in the semester, because we can't make exceptions for things that fail. It's just not fair to the other students. And things need to be graded. I have to give feedback, and so obviously I can't delay like deadlines. This is a little bit of what SPSS is going to look like. Let me just see something. In terms of SPSS, I'm just looking back. How many people have SPSS experience? I remember asking, or maybe I didn't. How many people have experience with SPSS? Even if you're not like expert. Okay. I have some. Okay, so some people have some experience, maybe not a whole lot, or a lot of people saying I have some, I have a bit. Okay, so those of you who are saying nope, you can see how many people are saying no, and then there are a lot more people who are not saying no, who are no's too. So there's not a lot of students here who have access with SPSS. And so that's okay because I will be teaching this as if it's brand new, because that's what I started doing 16 years ago when I first started teaching at Hunter. I used to teach SPSS, and I taught it from the very beginning in terms of like how to log into the program and open the files and save them. So you get it from the beginning. So don't be afraid. Like it's really like I completely love the program. And I hope you appreciate it too. And I hope it opens doors for you in your future, just the way it did for me. I just all the way through, it really opened a lot of doors. So here's the deal with SPSS, because I know a student asked me about if they needed SPSS, if they have Excel. And so the answer to that is yeah, because Excel is not going to be able to do all of the data analyses that you have to do. So you do need access to SPSS. And there are, just like with Excel and Microsoft Word, there are kind of discounted versions of and free versions of things. So there's a discounted version of SPSS. You can get a 6-month license for the standard or base version of SPSS. And it's available for under $50. The least expensive one is called the base version, and the base version is totally adequate for this course. You don't need to get the standard one. The standard one is a bit more advanced or higher or more expensive than the base version, but the base version is adequate. The only difference between in terms of what will affect you is that the base version will include the standard version will include logistic regression and the base version will not. But we will learn logistic regression this semester, but there won't be any SPSS exercises involving logistic regression. You will learn it through a series of slides and other course materials, so you won't really need SPSS to do logistic regression. Unless you're interested in doing it on your own for your own personal needs, then, get the standard version, because that's going to give you access to you'll be able to do logistic regression. In terms of this course, you're not going to have to do logistic regression in SPSS. And so the cheaper base version of SPSS will suffice. There are longer licenses that are also available. I think there's like you could get SPSS for a year, but that would be like more expensive. I don't remember how much they are now. Like years ago they used to be around $30, but everything has gone up. So it's still like under $50, which is a lot, you know, especially if you're a student. CUNY also has a site license that enables students to use software, including SPSS and other core programs, at almost all the computers in the library. So if you can get to campus, and I know some of you can't, but some of you can get to campus and you can use SPSS in the library, in the computer rooms, at the Silverman building and also at 68th Street. And so that's a good opportunity. And also the School of Public Health, where I'm stationed at 55 West 125th Street. You can access these buildings, and all of them have access to SPSS on the computers. But in addition to this, let me just say, you may have more information about this at okay, so here's other information about discounted versions of SPSS. In addition to all this, there's what's called a free virtual version of SPSS that the department offers. If someone wants to try that, let me just see if this was provided here. No. Okay. So if somebody thinks they want to try the virtual SPSS version, it comes on your desktop and you have to log in and connect with Hunter's system, and then your laptop kind of is connected to that system, and it's really hard to save anything on your computer, and sometimes it could be really glitchy. And so there are a little bit of hang-ups with it. So if you wanted to look into this because you need to save money, and maybe it's better than it was in years past, but if you want to look into it just to see what it's like early on, so you can make a decision about whether you need to spend the money to get SPSS, um, you can just reach out to me and we'll get you the link for the free virtual version of SPSS. Just send me an email and you could try it out, see what you think, and then let me know like if it's better. Years ago it was really glitchy, but that's when they first had it made it available to students. A couple of years ago, the CUNY School of Public Health was giving SPSS for free to students, but I think that whole thing ended and now they're not doing that anymore. And I just wish that it was free for everyone. I don't have any control over that, but I just wish it was free for everyone. So, okay, so before I start talking about the city program, any questions for me about anything I've said? So, how many people know about cityprogram.org? Okay, one person. So, not too many people know about this either, so you're not alone. One person knows about it. Do you know about it because I'm guessing you either took a course that required you to use it, or you may work in some university setting where you're doing medical research and somehow interviewing research participants, human research participants, and maybe that's how you know it. I'm just curious. Well, I was doing research. Great. Okay. Thank you. So that makes sense. Ian has made an account earlier today, so that's good. So that's what I'm asking you to do now, that this is something that we require of all students, even at the CUNY School of Public Health. This is when I first started teaching at Hunter way back 16 years ago. We used to ask the students to do this. When I started working at Columbia, I couldn't do any I couldn't make any contact with any human subjects. I couldn't even look at data. I couldn't even open folders. I couldn't do anything without getting this training and certificate. And why? Does someone want to tell me why? Does someone want to explain what this is? Like what is this? What do you think this is and why do we have it? Because what I'm introducing you to is the fact that you're going to have to get this certificate. This is required by the school. It's required of all MPH students, or MS students, whatever program you're in. It's required of all students who are taking public health courses, because many of you will probably go into research. Maybe not all of you, but many of you will. And you really cannot do anything in the job that you're hired to do until you get the certificate. And going into a job and telling them you already have it, they will be thrilled, because it could take you like 6 hours to do this, and then you have to wait for the certificate. It's sort of like, and when people hire you, they want you to just start working after you're trained. So this holds things up. So it's really valuable to just have it. It doesn't expire for several years, but it takes several hours to complete. Um, Probably 4 to 6 hours, because you have to watch a string of videos, you have to read a number of different things. And as Marla has told us very wisely in answer to my question, that we do this because we have to make sure that we're maintaining ethical practices when we interview and communicate with human research participants. Many years ago, there were several trials, and they're probably covered in this class, but Tuskegee trial was one of them, where researchers, like university researchers, were conducting research on participants, and participants had a disease, and they weren't told they had the disease, or they weren't told there was a cure for the disease even. And the people kept getting sick, and they kept dying, and the researchers weren't telling them because they wanted to continue to watch the progression of the disease, so this way they can get value from their research. Now I understand that, but that's really unethical. So things like that were going on, and as a result, there were different declarations that were made to protect human participants in terms of ethics, in terms of confidentiality. And so this program, this training that you all have to take, and I'm going to tell you when you need to do it. Yes, it's very similar to the PHRP certificate. It's definitely similar to that. But you do have to take this. It's a little bit different. It's along the same lines, though. Serves similar purpose. So this is something that you're going to have to do. You have to, the link is right there to log in and take it. And there are some details here for you. You have to complete this by the end of the semester. So there will be some of you who will just like do it right away because you're smart and you know that you don't want to wait till the end of the semester, because the end of the semester could be hellish, especially if it's the end of a summer semester. And you never know what can happen, and you have other responsibilities or emergencies, things like that. It's always better to just, as we know from the past couple of years, you never know what can happen in any given week. It's better to just do things as soon as possible. Now before the course gets in full swing, it's better to just get this out of the way. It does take 4 to 6 hours to complete, and so you have to have it done by the end of the semester. Please don't wait until the end of the semester to do it. You're gonna be really too busy between exams and projects and homeworks, and it's just too much. So I'm just emphasizing that you might want to just take this as soon as possible. I am going to post more detailed instructions on how to do this, because I still do this with my students, and I know what they need to hear in order to actually successfully log in and get this done. I was having difficulty finding, yes, exactly, Noel, right. So that's exactly why I'm going to post the instructions. So yeah, you do need to make an account first, and then there's a choice between the biomedical account, or the biomedical test, and the socio-medical sciences test. And at CUNY-SPH, we tell students to take the socio-medical one, but Professor DeVito, the way he runs this class, he says you can take the biomedical one or the socio-medical one, depending on where you think your interests lie, where you think you may wind up. They're both almost nearly identical. And so, Noel, to answer your question, it's a little bit tricky to find out, like, to log in and find out which course to choose. And even now that I told you could take either one, sometimes there's trickery. There's a little bit of trickery in terms of like where to click. So I have like screenshots of the thing and instructions that I always post for students, and so I'm just gonna post that this weekend, so this way you guys know what to do, and it hopefully will clear up any confusion, because it's bad enough that this takes 4 to 6 hours, and so then to have to do it, then to have to sit there and find it and not be able to log in when you know it takes 4 to 6 hours, it's a little bit angering. So we're gonna try and get you over that. And also I want to mention that there are some people that already have this, and that also happens as well every semester, that some of you already have this. And if you already have it and it hasn't expired, then you can just send it to me when I open the folder that is appropriate for posting this, and that's going to also be uploaded too. You're going to have a folder on Blackboard. You're going to submit the certificate. If you already have one and it doesn't expire, you can just submit it there and you're done. If it expires, as long as it doesn't expire by like the end of July, you're good. If it expires soon, or if it expired, you can take what's called a refresher test. And the refresher test is much less time consuming than taking the whole thing. So that's an option for you, and you can walk through the system on cityprogram.org to take the refresher. Let me just see what else I wanted to say about this. So you probably hear me talking about test, and anytime I say the word test, because I realize I said it, and I want to go and just calm people down now that I said that word. So this is just a training, and it's not like a test per se. There's going to be like videos and stuff for you to read, and it's about how to protect research participants to make sure you're not divulging their personal information, private medical information, as they are, when you're interviewing participants for research. So you're often asking them what their income is, what diseases they have. Sometimes they're very personal things that you ask them. Sometimes they are telling you about diseases that are very private. uh, there's a lot of private information that's collected from participants. And so that's what all this is about. So it is interesting and applicable probably to what most of you want to do. But after you go through the videos and you go through the reading and the course, it's like a course. It takes 4 to 6 hours. And you could stop it and restart it. But at the end, there's like a series of questions that you have to answer, and that's the test. But it's not really a test, because if you get the answers wrong, you can go back in, log in, and just like redo it. So you don't have to panic about this. This should not be something that instills fear in anyone. So you worry about something else and not this. Don't worry that this is some kind of hard test. It's one of those things where if you don't get the certificate, like I wouldn't even know, like you just need to just redo the questions and then print out the certificate, or submit it. But get it done pretty soon. Any other questions about this? Okay. So this is a little bit more about it. I've said a lot of this, but it takes about 3 to 6 hours to take it. We're reading stuff and short videos, but it's a course requirement. So just make sure that you do it. And here's some options of what you're going to do. Your institution is CUNY, so it'll be free. You're going to select the HSR certificate, and then you can select either graduate, social, or behavioral, or medical, or biological, depending on whatever matches your interests and training. And as this says, if you already have a certificate, you can submit it in the folder that I'm going to make available. Or if you have a certificate that expires, then take the refresher course, and there'll be instructions on how to do that. So all this here is written out. And this is what the certificate is going to look like. Now, no matter how many times I show this, there's always one student who sends me the log of their test. I don't really need to see that. What I need to see is your certificate with your name. So this is what I need to see. When you're all done with this, you will get this thing here and your name will be on it, and there'll be an expiration date in the top right hand corner. So that's where you'll be submitting into the folder by the end of the semester. And obviously Professor DeVito will be the one that is, making sure that you submit it at that point in time because it's at the end of the semester. But my suggestion is get it in early, and I'll be posting a folder for you guys to do that. Any other questions about this before I start diving into discussion boards? Or anything else? No, this is free. So just for further reassurance, you just log in. These are the options that I showed you. You can log in your CUNY. So when it asks you to select your institution, it's CUNY, and then right here it says free. Okay, so you don't have to pay for any of this stuff. Any other questions? Sure. Guys, that's what this is going to look like. I don't want the log, guys. I want the certificates. Don't be the student that sends me the log. No matter what I do, there's always one. So class participation discussion boards. Okay, so one of the things that we say is that a lot of students probably think, oh, what am I going to do with a discussion board? This is a biostats course. But as mentioned, it's important for you to be able to communicate with me. I learn from you. You guys hopefully learn from me, and you learn from each other. So that's why we have discussion boards. So I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves. If this isn't posted yet, I'll make sure it's posted. Introduce yourselves on the Blackboard shell. If it's not there, again, I'll make sure it's posted. I'm just finishing up the grading of my spring semester, so I then once I do that tomorrow, then I'm gonna make sure all this is posted. And then there's also a link for you to ask general questions. Just be careful what you post there. You should not be posting answers to things, but the purpose of that really is and not private information. The purpose of that is to really ask a general question that you think others can benefit from and that others may be willing to answer for you. But be careful about the way you use it and be really respectful with each other. Usually there are no problems with this. It's very rare where I have a student who doesn't abide by that, but it's happened. So just be very professional and kind and patient with your fellow classmates. I do want to say that don't fall in the habit of posting questions in the Q&A if you want them answered by me. I will check it, but email is really the best way to get to me. Because I don't turn on notifications for Blackboard. It'll just be ringing all day. I have too many classes and it's crazy. So don't wait for an answer from me on the discussion board. I'd like to get back to you as soon as possible, so please email me if you have questions. That's really the best way to reach me. But these discussion boards are here for your use. And just with that said, and also talking about Zoom and talking about recordings, and you see that some students want to be there in person, some students want to log in synchronously and be here live, and then I have other students who have contacted me saying that they don't want to be here live at all, and they have a reason why they can't. They have some other conflict, and that's allowed. And they're in some kind of specific program where they don't have to log in synchronously. So there's lots of technology that we rely on here. In addition to Blackboard, which basically we can't live without, we have all this technology now with Zoom and synchronous sessions and recordings and all these things that we rely on. And sometimes, even if we're very trained and we know what we're doing, because I've been using this for a long time, not Zoom, because Zoom is new, but from as far back as 2011, we used to use a recorder, web recordings, through Blackboard many years ago. But we know that things fail sometimes. Just technology fails. The system goes down. They're updating it, upgrading it. It was supposed to be upgraded by Friday, but it didn't get there. And, there's all different things that could happen. So we always manage to work it out. We figure out, if there's any interruptions. It's very rare, but it happens. So don't get discouraged. We've been doing this a long time, and we kind of know how to navigate and get things done. But just know that sometimes it's outside of our hands, and there's not really anything we can do about it to prevent it, but we'll get it resolved. So the question many of you may be thinking about is, what do I need to do next? In order to do well in this class after we finish tonight, what should I do? What's the next first step? Well, first of all, get familiar with the class Blackboard shell. Just go on it, look around. Notice that there's course materials, there's course sessions. If you click on that folder, you'll see this PowerPoint slide there for today. That's where we're going to be posting all the weekly materials. In the future, we're going to be posting exams there. We're going to be posting assignments there. We're going to be posting the labs there. So right now, not everything is available. We do this on a week-by-week basis, but just go in and look at the course shell and get familiar with it. Download and read the syllabus really carefully. This is also another thing that I know I have to repeat several times. There will always be one or two students that don't read the syllabus, and then they're surprised because they didn't read the syllabus. Don't let that be you. I can't really make exceptions. It's not fair to the others. And this semester ends really soon, so there's not a lot of leeway to make exceptions here. We only have 8 weeks. So don't be the student who missed something in the syllabus. That's not good. You have to just get comfortable in terms of really reading things carefully. It's really a good skill to have. So make sure you read the syllabus carefully. We will update it with assignment deadlines this weekend so that everything is there and you know what to expect. And once I do that, I'll send an email message around. Make sure that you received our email messages. We already talked about this a little while ago. Contact the help desk if not. You should also download and get acquainted with the textbook if you're doing, if you're having a hard copy, get it. If you want the virtual one, get it. You also want to get started on the City Program certificate. I will post the instructions this weekend. You also probably want to get access to Microsoft Office, which will give you Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and also SPSS. It really should also say Microsoft Word here too, because that's necessary for a lot of your homeworks. And also tell us about yourself in the Blackboard discussion forum. I don't know if that's available yet. I know I said before I'll check, but did anyone see that that's already open? Did anyone participate on that yet? See, I'm hearing silence. It's probably not there. Yes. Oh, it is. Okay. So there are several people that participated. Okay, great. So that's up and running. So go on Blackboard on the left side menu bar, and you can access the you can access you'll see discussion board there, and just click on it, and then you'll see the Q&A one, and then you'll also see one that says introduce yourself. So just use that and introduce yourself to us. Tell us some interesting things about you. I'm gonna give you guys some time to do this right before we hop off too. But also write it there. And so that's a really good opportunity, because I think it really helps if you're new to a class and new to a field, that you see other people are too. And then some of you may be very interested in infectious disease. Some of you may be very interested in nutrition. Some of you are in that track, obviously. Some of you are interested in social work. Some of you are interested in really research methods. And then suddenly there's another student who shares your exact interests. And it's great to actually meet students that way. So thank you to those who already introduced themselves on that. I will be reading them this weekend. I love reading them. So just definitely take advantage of the fact that this is a really wonderful group of students. I don't know you guys yet, but I've been teaching long enough to know that it's really always an impressive group of students, and you can really benefit from each other. So, as I said, again, check Blackboard and email daily. The weekly course material is going to be posted on Blackboard. You should see Blackboard in the syllabus for when all the class materials will be available. That's all going to be announced. Check announcements, check assignments and updates and other materials that are posted regularly on Blackboard. All that's going to be updated on this weekend, over the weekend. Make sure you're checking the default email address that you're using for Blackboard. I don't have any control over what email address you gave Blackboard. But you should definitely make sure you're getting email messages from me. Like I said, you should have gotten two. And if you didn't, reach out to the help desk as soon as possible, because they're the only ones that can help you. I can't change I can't change your email in the system. Like, I don't have access to the system, so I can't do that. It's not that I don't know how to do it. I just don't have the access level to do it. So just make sure you get this done, because you don't want to be the student who doesn't check email or can't check email. It's going to put you at a huge disadvantage, especially because this is an 8-week course and there's no other way to reach you guys. So that's all very important. I know I've said that. Questions. If you have any questions or concerns about the coursework, make your first option posting to the Blackboard discussion forum, and there you can. It seems like there's a few typos on this slide. Trying to figure out what he's saying. There, for I or your fellow students can post answers. Okay, so go on Blackboard discussion forums and start to post if you have questions or concerns. It's also better, like I said, to email me directly with questions, so you can definitely get them answered more quickly. But these forums are good because sometimes students have an issue or a question, and then it benefits other students from hearing that. So definitely use it. And participation in the discussion forums will also impact your class participation grade at the end of the semester. So that's always good to know. This is what it looks like. So you should be familiar with this. Let's see. Okay, so questions and concerns, here are our email addresses. Again, if your questions are of a more personal nature, or if you're shy about posting online, please email us here. And again, I do want to emphasize, it's always better to reach out to me by email instead of putting it in the discussion forum. Always put Pub Health 750 into the subject line of any emails that you send. And I'm also going to be sending you a Gmail account as a backup. Again, there's always one student, one or two students. Don't fall behind. This goes so quickly. If this is the first time you're taking a summer course, just trust me, it's going to speed by. We're going to be sitting here 3 weeks from now, like shocked that 3 weeks have passed. So, don't fall behind. Like, just keep up with the material that we're posting. It's really important that you do this. I know it's summer and most of you like just finished your spring courses and you need to kind of breathe a little bit. You can have a little time to read this weekend. There are a couple of things that I'll be posting, and you have the city exam, the city program training, which you might want to get started doing, but you're gonna have to try to get into this pretty soon. So don't fall behind. Manage your time well. And so we also want to tell you to don't panic, keep up with the course, and there's really no man left behind. So if there's something you need or you have a question or concern, we're here for you. We're all here for each other. We look forward to really having an interesting and rewarding experience with you this semester. And I think that might be the last slide. Let me see. Yes. So this is going to be a shorter session. The class I think runs until 8:30. That's what it says. I'm not sure we'll always be going to 8:30. I know that I was told when we meet in person to let you guys out early to make sure it's still light out so people can travel home when it's light out. So I will be making sure to end this sessions a little bit earlier whenever we're meeting in person, which is on a Wednesday, because I've been told to do that. Everyone should mute their mics. Please mute your mics if you're not talking to me. So, but today we're going to end just a little bit earlier, but I want you guys to introduce yourselves a little bit to me. I really like to hear you guys talking. It's when you're not in front of me, it's kind of like not the same. So, and I learn a lot from you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to just introduce yourselves to me, as I said before, and then we'll end nice and early. Hopefully you can have a restful evening. I'm still going to continue to grade, even though I've now been awake like more than 24 hours, but I have some grading to do. So I'm going to finish that. But any questions for me before we introduce ourselves? I've already introduced myself, but you guys, any questions for me? Anything at all? Okay, so let me give you an opportunity. It's good to hear from each of you, so I'm just gonna let's see. Anat, Rose, Atlas, you can also correct me if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name. I'm terrible at this. And I'm so sorry, I'm terrible at this, but tell me how to say your name.
I think you got it right. It's Anat.
Oh, good, I did say that. Thank you. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell me like anything you want to share about yourself, like what your interests are in terms of the field, how you wound up here, where you're planning to go, maybe like something interesting about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Anat. I live in Astoria, Queens, with my husband and our 11-month-old daughter.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And we have a dog who's almost 12 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a mix, she's a mutt. So this is my, I'm doing my master's in nutrition science.
Great.
I did my the bachelor's degree I got from Brooklyn College in health and nutrition science. And I'm doing the MSDI program, which is the master's combined with the dietetic internship.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so after I believe that after I will have finished the internship part, I'll have a better an informed decision of what I want to do, because I'm not
That's
quite sure
okay.
yet if I want to do like a community more or clinical.
Good,
I'm not sure
good,
yet.
good.
Yeah, so I'll see, but I'm excited.
That's great. No, this is an exciting time, and you can get an opportunity to sort through what you want to do. This is why we teach so many different courses and give you access to a lot of resources and access to each other and access to faculty members, because we want you guys to figure that out along the way. So take
Yeah, for
advantage of
sure.
like everything. Just talk to people and take advantage of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the time people, like that. That's what we're here for. So that's great. Nice to meet you, and not thank you.
Nice to meet
Um,
you. Thank you.
I know Astoria really well. I love Astoria, and I used to be in Astoria all the time when I was younger, but I'm still there a lot. So,
The story
um,
is good. Great food.
yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
Thanks again. Anthony Zamora, you here? It says off next to your name, so it might be that you logged off, or I don't know if the equipment's off. Anthony, are you still here? Okay, Elizabeth T. Um, you here? Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Florida. I just graduated from the University of Maryland with a double degree in psychology and dietetics and nutrition. So I'm in the MSDI program, moving to New York hopefully in June.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So
Oh
that's
gosh.
yeah.
So you're taking a summer course. You're from Florida. I'm assuming you are in Maryland now. Is that correct? Or are you back in Florida because
I'm
school's
actually back
over?
in Florida
Yeah,
just for
that's
a
what I
bit.
figured.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you're moving here. Have you been, I'm assuming you've been to New York before?
Yes, yes. I've been to
Okay.
New York before. Excited about
Good,
that.
good, good. Okay. And what are your plans for the future? Do you know what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna get my RDN after the MSDI
Great,
program,
great.
and then hopefully work in something clinical.
That's wonderful. Great. Anything fun that you enjoy doing when you're not
I
moving and
like to
taking
draw.
classes?
I like to draw and I guess be
Great.
outside.
Great. Thank you, Erica. Nice. Elizabeth, sorry. Thank you, Elizabeth. Nice to meet you. Um, Erica?
Hi.
Hi.
Um, I I graduated in 2021 from Lehman College.
Great.
My bachelor's in dietetics was in nutrition. I'm doing right now my IPND program. And for my future, well, I plan to hopefully get my RD credentials and later get to be a sports dietitian.
Great. That's great. So you're a New Yorker because you're here at Lehman College, right? So, were you born here in New York?
No, I was born
2020?
in Ecuador.
Oh, really?
Um,
Wow. Oh, man, that's wonderful.
I've been all
That's,
over the place, honestly. I moved when
oh,
yes, I moved when I was 13 years old, and I did my high school, college all here. And I graduated in 2021 from Lehman, and then I took an internship in Alaska, and I stayed there for a
oh
year.
my gosh. I'm so
I
envious.
just
That's
got back.
wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh man, I just miss traveling so much. So that's great. Wow. Thanks so much, Erica. I'm glad you're here. E&T.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. A little bit low, but just trying to talk
Oh,
as
hi, I'm
loudly.
Ian. I just graduated from Hunter College. So this is my first graduate course here, and born and raised in New York City. And I'm not too sure what I want to do, but I'm working toward the RDN credentials.
Great, Great. Congratulations on your graduation. It's like you
Thanks.
graduate and like, when was graduation? Like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're already back in class again.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And it's good. It's in the end, it's gonna benefit you, and I know you know that. So just try to hang
Yeah.
in there. Um,
Thanks. Thanks.
Anything that you enjoy doing for fun?
Um, I like to bike around the city or just walk
Great,
around, really, or go
great,
hiking with some friends.
great. All right, thanks, Ian. Great. Jessica Ramirez Vasquez.
Hi, I
Hi.
am also an MSDI student, and I'm interested in pursuing a career in dietetics, specifically with the pediatric population in a clinical setting. My main interests right now are in diabetes, weight management, and eating disorders. As for fun, I enjoy traveling as well and trying different foods around New York. That's always really fun.
Yes, I love that too. We're really fortunate.
Yeah.
There are so many different cuisines that we get to have here. So,
Oh my gosh,
and
yeah. I know Astoria has really good restaurants as well.
yeah, yeah, Astoria has great restaurants. I'm always in Chinatown, Flushing, because I really love Asian food, all kinds of Asian food, and including Korean food. Chinese food, you can see the soup dumplings are on this because I love the chili oil and the soup
I love soup and
dumplings. And
dumplings.
I love Indian Chinese food too, like Indo-Chinese, which can't find those
Hmm.
restaurants anymore. It's like very upsetting. But I love
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
I've ever
Indian
tried
food.
those.
They are great. There's a place called can't remember what it's called now. There are a few Indo-Chinese places. There's one in Sunnyside and one near Grand Avenue in Queens. And then there's one in Glen Oaks, Long Island.
Oh my
One
gosh,
or
I need to
two.
try.
Yeah, they're really great. I'm blanking on the name, but someone here may know. It starts with a T. I'm just forgetting what the name is. Uh, but yeah, that's a really good cuisine too. But I love Indian food. And we're really fortunate because people, don't have all this exposure to all this great food, from all different cultures. So great. Good to meet you, Jessica. Thanks for being here.
Nice to meet you. Thank
Jordan.
you.
Hello, all. My name is Jordan. I graduated from the CIA with a bachelor's in food science, which is different than the food science from Hunter, NYU, or others. It gives you associate's training in culinary arts, and then
Wow.
training on becoming a research and development chef to work with food scientists for food manufacturing.
Ooh,
But
that's
I didn't end up
wonderful.
going into that. I worked as a chef in New York City for many years, and then decided I wanted to pursue nutrition. And so I am currently in the IPND program with the intent of becoming an RDN. And I don't know what I want to do with it
Wow.
exactly, but I'm going to figure it out.
I love that. I don't know too many chefs, and we were just talking about food, so that's really amazing. Did you enjoy doing that? That's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been honestly working in professional kitchens since I was like 14, like since high school. So it's just been a part of me for a long time.
Wow.
It is very hard and very endearing, which is part of why I'm kind of thinking of doing something different, but
Right, of
still,
course.
food related.
Nutrition, yeah.
I think
And you
it's a
could,
good segue.
yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. That's wonderful that you can just transition to that. Sorry
Yeah,
about the sirens outside my window.
all good.
Um, So that's really great. So I wanted to say, oh, is there a specific cuisine or is it more like eclectic things that you prepare?
I sort of have a variety of different experience. I'd say my longest is with seafood. I worked for a seafood restaurant for a long time,
Wow,
so like
that's hard. That's
recovery.
got to be hard.
Yeah, it is very delicate, very precise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. That's pretty hard. Wow. Well, welcome to the course. I'm glad to have you. Is there anything that you enjoy doing? I know probably cooking, but maybe not. Well, at least for fun, I'm sure. I don't know. Like when you're home, you don't really want to cook, do you?
Sometimes, but for fun, I do like playing video games, and I also am a makeup artist and do a lot of makeup stuff
Very
for
cool.
social media, and I try to starting up my makeup business.
That's wonderful. That's great. I love people who are artistic. I can never, I'm like terrible. Someone else said they love drawing, and I'm really like terrible with makeup and drawing and all that stuff. So I always appreciate people who really have that knack.
Yeah.
So welcome to the chorus. Really glad to have you. Um,
Yeah.
Kenny Chen.
Yeah, hi. My
Hi.
name's Kenny. I'm also a graduate from Hunter, and
Great.
this is my first technical class for masters, right? Also at Hunter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm not sure as of right now what I want to pursue after RDN,
Okay.
but I'm kind of looking forward to the supervised practice hours that we're going to be offered later to
Okay.
kind of help me decide. I
Great.
kind of spend my time outside. I like the weather, but it's on and off because allergies is a thing for me, and
Yeah.
I like spending outside, but the allergies really kick in, and I get a really hard hit.
Yeah, I think probably most of you will tell me yes, but you could tell me, maybe not. But I'm hearing this from a lot of people that allergies seem to have gotten much worse now after COVID for some reason. And I don't really know why. I don't know if it's because we've worn the mask for so long, and then somehow, like, because I never used to have allergies, and suddenly, like, 2020 I have allergies suddenly. It's like very bizarre, so I don't really know exactly what happened, but I'm hearing this from a lot of people, and
Yeah,
I
it
don't
feels
like
really weird.
it. Did you have it
Sorry.
before?
Yeah, I had allergies before, but I feel like it's kind of intensified because
Yeah.
I would spend hours before COVID happened. I live near the shore, and I
um
spend my time jogging, right? And when I come back, this usually it's spring and I don't have problems with allergies into
right.
near summer. But then all of a sudden, I'm still going jogging now,
Yeah.
and I come back and then my eyes start getting extremely
Yeah,
itchy
the
and I
the
feel
itchy
really
eyes
rough.
is like horrible because then you can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just all of a sudden I feel just worse.
Yeah, I've never had this before. Before 2020, I never had this before. So I don't know what it is. Uh, I don't know. It really, and I'm not saying like it's COVID related symptom. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the fact that we wore masks for so long. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. Stayed home for too long. I don't know. But one thing that really helps me, because I don't like to like take medication, like, I don't like to just
Oh,
take
me
different
too.
things. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, if I need to take something, I'll take it, but I don't usually like do that stuff, like pop things. So, I find that drinking a ton of water actually really, really helps. You have to drink like a lot, and it takes maybe like 15-20 minutes for it to help, but then it really does help for a few hours, and then you need to drink more water, and it really is magical. Like, it really helps a lot.
Yeah, I take eye
So
drops, some allergy eye drops, I think. I
good.
don't remember what it's called, but that helps with my eyes for like several hours and
Hmm.
washing your face and especially like between your eyes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that that helps a lot.
Yeah, going in the shower and like just washing, like, hair and everything, getting all the pollen off or whatever it is. And, around your face. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, good, Kenny. Nice to have you. Congratulations again. Uh, Marla?
Hi, can you guys hear
Hi.
me? How are you doing, Professor?
Good, how are
How's
you?
everyone doing? I'm doing good. I'm currently enjoying the weather outside, which is very
Yeah, it's
nice.
been beautiful the past few days. I've been at home
Yes.
grading. I've been at home not doing anything like a whole weekend. It's really sad. I have so much to do.
Oh
I
my
have
God.
no choice. But at least I have windows and I have the
Oh
window
yes,
open.
that's true. You can really appreciate a window in New York.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry for the street noise. I'm literally just like sitting outside as I do this
Good.
class because I
Good, good,
love this
good.
weather.
Good.
But my name is Marla, obviously. I am a MS student, and this is my first graduate course obviously ever. So I'm very excited to be involved with all of you guys and just to see how the material is going to look and what the differences are going to be. Um, and I am pursuing nutrition and food science. I'm planning on taking the RDN exam and hopefully either doing some clinical work or research, but I'm really open. Wow. Just give it a second. I'm very open to any possibilities for changing. I like learning things, so I know that my eye will probably deviate to something else, but I'm open to that. And I love being outside. Somebody else said, I think literally the person before me, I love walking, I love flowers, I love biking, I love the beach, and that's all.
I know I love all of that too, and I really miss like being active and being outside. Central
Yeah.
Park is right near me, so I used to several years ago I used to run around the loop in Central Park. And some of you are runners and probably know what I'm talking about. But I also ran there was a track at the gym at Columbia, and I would run there too. But then, COVID came and, you stop running and it's like the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody. So,
Oh
I
my God,
really
yeah.
miss doing that, because I used to run like 20 miles a week. I don't know how I used to fit it in, but I did. And,
It's
it
crazy. I
was,
lost so much of my stamina in COVID,
I
like with
know,
everything that
I
I
know.
used to do.
I know, it's horrible. It's horrible. So just, but nice to have you. Glad that this is your first graduate class. It's really worth it. So just hang in. And I'm here, I'm here for you guys. You can tell that you're not the only person here who's, this is the first graduate course. We have people who just graduated 2 days ago, so you're not alone. So congratulations. Okay. Mickey Zhang, and if I'm mispronouncing it, please correct me.
Hello, you're pronouncing it right. So
Okay,
yes, my
cool.
name is Nikki. I also graduated a few days ago, and
Congratulations.
thank you. And I am currently a MS IPND student for nutrition and food science,
Great.
and I have been doing some research with Dr. Liang. Currently, also for my community nutrition, I'm also doing research. So that's why I have the city certificate.
Oh, that's right.
Besides
I remember you saying that. That's right. You said research. Good, good.
that, and besides that, I like going on long walks with my dog.
Aw. What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Shiba Inu.
Oh, I love them. I know what they look like. They're bigger than the little dogs I have here, but I know exactly what they look like. They're really cute.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, I miss taking my dog out for walks and stuff, so that's
Hmm.
fun. It's good to get around with them. My dogs used to get a lot of attention. They used to like walk down the block and wait for people to catch up with them because they thought they were so
Oh,
cute. Like they would be like, somebody wants to talk to me, I'll just wait.
definitely. I would want to talk to them.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Congratulations again, Mickey, and
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you as well. Noel, and if I'm mispronouncing your name, tell me.
No, actually, you're pronouncing it perfectly.
Thank you. I'm
I'm
gonna
very
mess up people's names, though, trust me. Next time I'll get it wrong,
Hi, everybody. I'm Nawal. I'm a DTR, and I'm graduated from Brooklyn College with a bachelor's in nutrition. I'm trying to get my master's in nutrition, and hopefully gain experience through like the internship so that I can work with people with eating disorders. That's kind of what I want to specialize in.
Great.
I'm originally from Maryland. I moved to New York maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. And
Wow.
I really like it here. Hopefully, after I get like a master's and everything, I do really want to like live abroad for a while. I think that would be really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, nice to meet everybody.
That's great, Noel. Thank you. There was also another student who mentioned interest in eating disorders as well. So I think she spoke at the very beginning. I'm sorry, I don't remember which person it is, but I know someone else mentioned it. So you're not the only person here who wants to, head maybe in that direction. So that's great. Um, anything else you want to add or tell us?
Um, sure. So I have two cats,
Hey.
which are really rambunctious and crazy, but a lot of fun. And I put this on Blackboard, but I also like, going outside, and I really like trying different unique cuisines. So I've had like really weird food like jellyfish. I've had gator in New Orleans. Anything
I
like
had
weird and
that.
funky, I'm down to
I
try
had I
it.
had Gator in New Orleans a long time ago. Oh my God. But it was great. I didn't mind it. And
It's
I'm like so
delicious.
picky. Yeah, it was really good. I'm very picky. Like there are a lot of things I won't eat, but that was fine.
Oh, that's awesome. I commend you for it. I mean, anybody should try it. It's really good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I've been there. I was there before Katrina and then after Katrina, so definitely seen changes. I love that city though.
Yeah, for sure. My family is originally from New Orleans, so I
Oh,
totally understand that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a really fun
yeah,
city,
yeah,
or
yeah.
little
I've had
town rather.
meetings there, and I went there for Mardi Gras like many, many years ago with a group of friends, and then like
Oh,
years.
nice.
Yeah, so I got to experience that. But we were like we were with like their family and kids and stuff, so it was like very normal, toned down.
Can't
But we
really
went
hang
to
out.
yeah, we went to the parade and the beads and the whole thing. We got to experience the whole thing. And I mean it's magical. It's like where else do you see that? Um, so that was wonderful. But then I've been there like two or three more times because we have meetings there sometimes. And so I've taken a lot of tours and just like to get around a lot, just see different parts. So really great city. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. If you have a
So
chance, I would highly recommend the ghost tours. They're pretty fun if you
we
like
didn't
to
do
be
the
scared.
ghost tours. We were reading about them. I remember passing them because we like on Bourbon Street or whatever. There's tons of signs on them about them. Very cool. Thank you. Very nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Pedro,
Huh. Oh, is it working? Hello?
I think I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So, like many others, I'm also interested to become a registered dietitian. I still don't know, like many others also, of exactly what I want to specialize in. But right now in the back of my head, I'm thinking more like sports nutrition, maybe obesity, like has more
Great.
interest in my mind. But it's still unsure, so I'm really open to anything as long as I learn about it. And something I enjoy doing, I guess, every time I hang out with my friends, I enjoy every time that they recommend a new place to eat because it feels like something new every time. Because
Hmm.
when we can't decide on anything, we just choose like a new place randomly around the area. So we try to find what's good. But sometimes it doesn't work to our benefit because then we just end up not liking the food, but we have to forcefully eat it.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
I know. No, I do that a lot. I'm on Yelp a lot. I don't know, like that's what I use a lot to figure out like what's good. Aside from like no, people like saying something's good. But even if somebody recommends something to me, like I'll always still look at it. I have to look at Yelp and like try to read the reviews and figure out which are true and
It
which
feels
are
like you have to read a bunch of reviews too, if
yeah.
anything, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's a different palette for everyone.
Right, exactly. And some of the reviews aren't, authentic and they're there for different reasons. But that's great. Yeah, I enjoy doing that too. Well, everybody who like loves different cuisines and has all this experience, like share like what you like, so we can learn from you guys. Because I think it's good. I know a lot of good places, and I'd love to be able to share that.
Perfect,
Anything
thank you.
else? Go ahead.
Uh oh, I guess I have a cat, but she's a little she's a little rambunctious. Like every time we open the door for her and she sees someone walking by or like a honk and any little noise, she'll run back inside in like fear or something.
Oh.
So she doesn't explore too much, but when there's no one, it's peacefully quiet. She just goes out to explore.
Oh. My partner has a
I don't
cat. He lives in Philly with her, and she gets very afraid when she hears the upstairs neighbors. They have kids, and the kids are running around, and she gets really afraid. She like goes under the
I
bed,
guess
or
just
she
about
looks really
loud
affected.
noise for them or something.
Yeah, she gets really affected by like noise. She was like panicked. So I know exactly what you mean. I'm a dog person, but I'm attached to this cat now too, so great. Thanks, Pedro.
They,
Sammy?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I graduated in 2021 as a
Great.
CUNY BA student, majoring in dietetics, in nutrition and hospitality management.
Great.
In the future, I am planning to take the RDN exam and maybe go into clinical.
Great.
See, I usually enjoy like going hiking or like trying out new restaurants, but more recently I've just been staying home and with all my pets.
Aw. And what kind of pets do you have?
I have quite a few. I have a ball python,
Wow.
a crested gecko,
Oh,
a cat, a couple fish. I'm also getting a cat next month. One of my friends just had a litter, so we're also getting one next month. Yeah.
oh my gosh. So you're gonna have two cats in addition to everything else, right? That's great. Thanks, Sammy. Anything else you want to share with us?
Not really.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations on your graduation of last year. Oh, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 2021. I can't believe it's 2023. Um, Great. Thank you. Samuel?
Hello.
Hi.
So my name's Samuel. I graduated from Hunter last fall with a bachelor's in nutrition and food science, and now I'm in the IPND program. My goal for the future is to also get my RDN credentials and probably go into clinical practice.
Great.
For fun, I guess recently I've been enjoying recreational activities with friends and family.
Good. Yeah, after being stuck inside for so long, it feels
Yeah,
really good to be outside now. Good. Good. Are you originally from here? From New
yeah, I'm
York?
from Brooklyn. Yeah.
Great. Okay, cool. Very good. Yeah, I know a lot of natives here, so that's good. I'm also from native New Yorker too.
Which
Nice to
part?
meet you. I
Which
was
part of
born
you?
in Queens. I was born in Queens, and then like 20 years ago, I moved to Manhattan. But I spent a lot of time in Queens, Long Island, Manhattan, Brooklyn. My dad was born in the Bronx, so I've been to the Bronx. My grandmother used to live up there, so I don't know Staten Island that well. It's the only borough I don't know as well. But
Yeah, I've been to Staten Island. It feels like it's just mostly woods.
yeah, I know. I've driven through there, but not too many times. So good to meet other fellow native New Yorkers. There are a few of you here. Great. Thanks, Samuel. Sophie?
Yes, hi, I'm Sophie. I recently graduated from the Hunter Dietetic Internship Program, and I am continuing
Congratulations.
to get my master's in nutrition. Thank you.
Great.
I graduated from Syracuse through their DPD program and got my bachelor's in science last May, so I guess a year ago. And in terms of what I want to do, I'm currently studying for the RD exam.
Great.
I'm thinking clinical. I really want to work in a hospital, and aside from that, I'm pretty open to what
Great.
I want to do. I just want a lot of experience. So yeah.
Great. Anything else you want to share with us?
I'm originally from New York, but my family moved to LA when I was in 8th grade. So
Oh,
like I have a
nice.
very thing perspective on nutrition in terms of I think a lens from both coasts, which is
Yep.
different.
Yes.
Which adds a lot and definitely fueled the fire to my passion of food and farm to table. So
Yes.
that's where a lot of my approach and thinking comes from.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes a lot of sense. I've been to LA. I've had meetings there. I've been there like 2 or 3 times. So I definitely know, those restaurants are very popular there. And here too. They're popping up here.
Yeah,
Great.
definitely so. Yeah, thank you.
Love it. Thanks, Sophie. Stephanie?
Hi. So I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and I'm doing the accelerated BSMS IPND program at Hunter.
Great.
And I'm also not entirely sure what I want to focus in, but I think either sports nutrition or eating disorders. I like to learn, and I like to learn, especially about food. I like to learn about food, make food, eat food. So, yeah.
Good. That's great. Anything else you enjoy doing for fun?
Not really. I like to cook and bake.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular things that you enjoy baking or cooking? What do you
I
really
just
cook?
like when I can bake for other people, like for my friends and my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, I love that too. I know what you mean. Great. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Susanna.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm a recent graduate of the University of Vermont. I just
Oh, great.
graduated about a week ago,
Congratulations.
with, thank you so much. So I graduated with a major in dietetics, nutrition, and food sciences, and I'm in the MSDI program. I hopefully want to go into eating disorder treatment and weight inclusive nutrition. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's wonderful. Great. Anything else you want to share with us? Anything fun? Are you taking the course from Vermont?
No, I recently moved back to Connecticut where my
Oh,
parents live, and I'm
oh, okay.
gonna move into the city at some point this
Okay,
summer.
good. Yeah, that's what everybody does. Good. That's
Yeah,
fun. Vermont is beautiful, but I'm sure.
wonderful. I already miss it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's really beautiful up there, especially in the fall, but it's all year. It's a really beautiful place.
Yeah, we get the best foliage up there for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's really beautiful. And I like the kind of like, I don't know, the temperament up there, just the scene. So it's really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, congratulations. And welcome
Thank
to New
you.
York City when you get
Thank you so much.
you'll have a lot of fun here. I'm guessing you've spent time in Manhattan before, but I never thought I'd really love to live in Manhattan, but I really love it. So
Yeah, I'm excited for a different pace, a different scene.
yeah,
So I
it's
think it'll be
great.
good.
Yeah, you get used to it. I don't know. Like I know a few people who don't live here are kind of panicked about coming to the city and they think it's scary and fast and it's just not that bad. So um
Yeah.
you get used to it. Great. Thank you, Susanna. Sydney?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So my name is Sydney. I recently graduated from the University of Connecticut a few weeks ago with my master's in nutrition and then in the DVD program. And I also had minors in human development and family sciences and then also biology.
Wow.
I like to run, I like to cook. Oh, and then within nutrition, I'm interested in GI health and intuitive eating.
Very good. Yeah, some of these topics are really important, and there are not enough people studying them and, kind of in that field, in that specialization. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us, Sydney?
I like to go to the beach, hikes, like a lot of other, whatever everyone else said, being outside. Very
Great.
nice to do.
Great. Thank you, Sydney. There were a couple of people chatting with me in the chat, and I can't answer because I think I am logged in as Professor DeVito's on his account, but for some reason, like I can't reply even though I'm clicking on reply. So don't worry, we're gonna go on Zoom and I'll be able to like reply to you guys, but normally, but I can't seem to reply on GoToMeetings, even if I click on reply. So I'm not ignoring people. I do see the messages. Um, okay, so I think Valentina is next.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Valentina. I'm from Chile, South America. Most
Oh,
American people say Chile, but it's actually
I
Chile.
know. I can hear the way you say it. It's wonderful. Can you take us all there now? You just take us with.
Yes. I've been living in New York City for a few years because my husband is doing a PhD. So I moved here in 2018.
Wow.
So yes, I've been enjoying the city for these years. I really like New York. You always can do something different, so it's very fun for me. Um, I have a nutrition and dietetics degree that I study in my country, and well, I'm currently part of the master program in nutrition. So I expecting to be able to work in United States and practice all my knowledge. Um, well, in my free time, I really enjoy riding my bike. I live nearby to Central Park, so I really
Oh,
like
you're
to go
here too. I probably pass you by. I'm like a half a
Yes,
block
I mean,
away from Central.
yeah, the weather is so nice now, so I really like to go there like
Yeah.
every day, but not. I don't have the time every day, but
I know.
yeah.
It's terrible. I don't get this. I mean, it's a half a block away and I don't have time. How crazy is that? And I feel like I'm missing out. I know
Yes, but it's
exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
yeah. I'm also enjoy taking Zumba classes and cooking.
Great.
I like to try some new recipes. I
Great.
also like vegetarian food, so I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to practice that kind of diet for a couple. I mean, actually, like a flexitarian, so I've been trying to eat less meat and animal products. Um, that's all. Not sure if I have
That's
more
great.
to share with you.
That's wonderful. Have you been to Chile since you came to New York?
Yes, I actually go to Chile every end of the year to visit my family and friends.
Good, 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 good.
Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
So I don't really miss my country that much. Mostly my
Really?
family and friends.
Right.
But actually, I have a lot of Chilean friends in New York. There are a lot of Chilean people here. So it's nice to be with them like every weekend and share food
Great.
and drinks and everything.
That's
So
wonderful
yes,
that you still have a community here too, because that's
yeah,
important, like you share the culture and the foods and recipes. It's like that's really important to maintain. I'm sure that feels
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the time that I've been spending in New York. I really like the city and well all my life here. So, but I'm excited to start like this new process because I haven't been able to work as a nutritionist here. So it's gonna be nice to do this program and
Oh,
then
that's wonderful.
be able to work
Great.
here.
Yep. No, that's great. Before you know it, you'll be ready and able to do that. Good. So nice
Mm,
to meet you, Valentina. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you all, guys.
Thank you. Vilma, I think we just have two more students left and then we'll end early. Vilma, hi.
Hi, I'm Vilma. I'm from Mexico City.
Okay.
I'm really excited to do this program. Right now, I'm living in Mexico, but in July, I will be arriving to New York City.
Wow,
And
okay.
yeah, nutrition, I like clinical because I work in a hospital here in Mexico on 2021,
Okay.
and it was like amazing. So yeah, I
I
want to
can't even
do some.
imagine what you went through there. You were there in 2021 in in the hospital
Yeah,
working.
yeah,
Wow.
it was a lot of COVID, and we do some research also, and we treat patients with COVID in the oh, I don't remember the name of the area of COVID, but it was really amazing. And also want to do some community work.
Wow. That must have been like such a crazy time. I have a lot of students who are physicians, emergency room physicians, nurses, nurse practitioners, physician assistants. They all have so many stories. And me, overseas and also here. So, no, I really respect that. I respect your work.
Thank
And
you.
we get to
I
have you here in
also,
New York soon, right?
yeah,
You've been here
and
before, I'm assuming. You're familiar with the
yes,
city? All right, good. Good, good, good. That's
no, not so much, but a little bit, yes.
good, good. Well, you'll be
And I'm
joining
really,
the rest of the people who say that they like it here so far, so it's good. Um,
yes.
anything
And
else? Go ahead.
yeah, I also like go hiking and I love to travel.
Yeah, so don't let the city fool you. There are many places to go hiking, like right outside the city, like, just not that far away, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. There are lots of places to go hiking. Um, Jersey and Westchester and Rockland County and further out. Lots of hiking here. Pretty short trip from the city. Even you could get there even without a car. There are several trains you can take, so. Great.
Okay,
Welcome to the
perfect.
course. Really nice to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's really nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you. And then Zheng, and I mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry.
No, no, pronounce very good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Xin Yi, and I moved to Long Island, New York when I was 15 with the host family, and then I moved to Florida and South Carolina for a couple months, and then moved back to Queens, New York when I was
Wow.
17. Yeah. So
That's great.
I recently graduated from Hunter like a couple days ago with the Bachelor's of Human Biology, and
Great.
then now I'm part of the IPND programs.
Great.
So I'm currently working with in a podiatry clinic right now, and my working hours like 6 days a week from 9:30 to 5:30. So I don't really have a free time right now. But during my free time, I don't like exercise and sport at all. So during my free time, I like reading and bake.
And baking?
Yes,
Reading and
baking.
baking? Great. That's great.
Yeah.
There are several other people here who mentioned baking too. That's good. That's a lot of fun. A lot of
Yeah.
people were baking during COVID, so much so that they couldn't find flour on the shelves. I don't know if you guys remember hearing that, but everyone was bored at home baking. So it was like really there was like a shortage on flour because of that. So it's great. I enjoy baking too.
Yeah.
Just don't
Yeah,
have
that's
enough
good.
time to do all the things I want to do, but congratulations on your graduation. Glad to
Thank
have
you.
you. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us?
No, I think that would be all.
Okay, good. Good. I think is there anybody that I didn't get to? I know that Anthony, I don't see his name here anymore. Is Anthony still here? Okay. Is there anybody else I skipped? Okay. So I believe it's about 8 o'clock or something like that. 8:02. Okay. So, it was really great meeting you guys. Next Monday, we will meet online via Zoom. I will send you a Zoom link. Please don't use the GoToMeeting. I don't want anybody being here alone. I want to see you in Zoom. So, I'm just going to give you a Zoom link, and it's going to be exactly the way we did this now. There'll be a chat there. It's very easy to hear each other, and it's very easy to connect. But this is Professor DeVito's account, and I just, he's fine with me using it, but I just, I'll just set up my own Zoom account. It just makes more sense. So I'll be posting a lot of things this weekend just to get us really organized and make people feel reassured that they know what's coming up, and instructions for the city program and just everything like that. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions. And then for Wednesday, we have to figure out what we're going to do. If there's just going to, I want to know if anybody else needs and wants to be there on a Wednesday. I'm not pressuring anybody. Everybody has different preferences. If you feel like there are some students who really don't feel like they can learn at home, they need to be in a classroom, I respect that. If there's anybody who feels that way, just let me know. But I don't want to go all the way there if there's not going to be anybody there. So, and it looks like maybe there was one person who said yes, and there was one who said maybe. So, and that's okay. But if that's going to be the case, then I need to ask the department what I should do. So, again, no pressure, but I want to make sure that I'm accommodating everybody based on what their needs are and what they, in best learning environment. So just keep me posted on, send me an email. If you can't make it, or you don't want to, can't, it just doesn't work for you, you don't have to email me and say, I can't make it. That's totally fine. You know how to, I'll give you a Zoom link and we'll always be connected. Any questions for me? I'll stay here until everyone logs off, but I think we're done for tonight. I'm sorry that I'm a little tired tonight, so I hope I made sense, but if I didn't, hopefully on Monday I'll be a bit sharper on Monday. But it's really nice meeting all of you. Have a great night and fun weekend, and you'll hear from me on the weekend. Thanks everyone. I see all the messages in the chat. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Take care, Jordan.
Professor, I have a question.
Sure.
In the thing that we have to register the city program,
Yeah.
it says that please register your interest for CE credits below by checking yes or no. And it says that if I click yes, they give me like a few options about like dentists, dietitians,
Yeah, I think
nurses.
that continuing education credits, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just figured I think what this is the continuing education credits, and it doesn't apply to you.
Okay, so it's a no, right?
Yeah, so it's a no. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
And also nice to meet you,
So
and
nice to
see
meet
you
you.
Monday.
See you Monday. Have a good weekend, okay? And I'm here if you have any additional questions. Don't hesitate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pedro, I think you're the only one here. Just want to make sure you don't have questions for me. Any questions for me, Pedro? Okay, have a good night. If you have questions for me, please email me.